Before my divorce, I had no idea that as a man, I could become more attractive to women. I grew up thinking I was not good looking, I didn't have social skills, girls didn't like me, and I just assumed that you had to be good looking, popular, funny, have money and status to get attractive women. I just settled for the first girl that showed me any attention because I didn't have that much value. Once she left and we started getting divorced, I came across something called sexual market value, which talks about ways that as a man you can improve yourself to become more attractive to women. And once I found out about this, it gave me an insight to that there are things that I can do to become more attractive to women. It's made a huge difference in my life. So today's video, I would just want to go over the 3 components that make up sexual market value so that if you are struggling with feeling maybe that you're not going to be able to get attractive women or that you don't know what you're going to do after divorce or getting out of a relationship, knowing that you can improve yourself as a man can have a big impact on you. For me, it made me start working out because I realized that that's going to help me become more attractive. I started dressing better. I started using moisturizer. So I just want to go over what sexual market value is, the 3 components, see if it helps you guys out. So the first component of sexual market value is ascribed value. These are aspects that you're not going to have a lot of control over. You can still make some improvements, which I definitely would do because the more that you can make yourself attractive in any way, the better. One of my mottos is continually work on my SMV every day, no matter what. But these are things that you're not going to have a ton of control over. This would be like your age. You're the age that you are, whether you like it or not. If you have things that you can do to make yourself look more youthful, I would recommend doing that. What I like to use is Tish Hanley. It's a moisturizing system for your face. I've been using that for 7 years now. I think it makes me look younger than I am. I guess I can't say for sure because I have been using it for 7 years. But I do get a lot of girls thinking that I'm in my late 20s, early 30s still, and I'm 42. So it just adds to my value. And there's really nothing else I can do about my age but try to make myself look as youthful and healthy as possible. This would also include your IQ. You are as smart as you are. You can improve your knowledge, which I definitely would recommend doing as well. Reading books, listening to audio tapes, listening to things that are going to make you just more masculine and more of a man in general. Some of the books that helped me the most were The 4 Agreements, David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, The Compound Effect, Atomic Habits. I mean, there's just so many things that you could listen to while you're just walking around or at the gym. I used to just listen to music all the time or watch YouTube videos. And there's just so much you can learn. You're in a education deficit. So the faster you can learn, the more you can learn, the faster you can improve, the faster you can raise your value. So you can't necessarily improve your IQ, but you can definitely improve your knowledge and your skill sets. Ascribed would also include your race. So there's really nothing you can do about your race. You're born where you're born the color of your skin that you're born. So not a lot of use wasting mental energy in that. This would include your looks. So you're either, you're born with the facial features that you have. You're either, the bone structure. There's not a lot you can do about that. If you're not looking like Brad Pitt, you're just not going to be Brad Pitt. But there are things you can do to make yourself more attractive. What I did was I had a receding hairline that I didn't really feel comfortable with, so I got hair transplant. I used to have some moles on my face that I felt made me look very unattractive. And like I said before, I even knew about sexual market value. I thought everything was based on looks. So I wanted to make myself look as attractive as possible once I learned that I could become more attractive as a man. So I lost 40 pounds. That's something you can do for your looks, keep in good shape. I didn't like the moles, so I had those removed. I didn't like my receding hairline. I had that fixed, and it helped my confidence. I feel like it did raise my SMV, but it's not the most important thing. The other 2 components are going to be more valuable and something you have more control over. I feel now at this point, mostly what I can do is just continue to work out, maybe slim down, and that's really all I can do for my look. Keep my teeth clean, smile more, brighten my smile, just stuff like that. But you're not going to have a ton of control over it. If you're not, like I don't look like Brad Pitt, I'm never going to look like Brad Pitt. That's just the way it is. No point of focusing on that. This would also include your height. I mean, if you're tall, you're tall. If you're short, you're short. If you are short, you can get some lifts in your shoes. I know a lot of guys that do that. But me, I'm 5'10". I'm never going to be 6 foot. So there's no reason to dwell on that. I can't do anything about that. It is what it is. I'm going to focus on these other two components rather than any of this stuff. I'll focus on improving my looks and improving my knowledge and making myself look as youthful as possible. But I think that's just what you want to do as a man who wants to be the better version of himself anyways. So that is ascribed value. That's the first component. So the second component of SMV is external value. This would be things like your money and your status. So you can improve how much money you make, obviously. The more money that you have, you can use that to attract more women. It's not going to be the best way to do that, in my opinion. It's great to have money. It's great to be able to provide for women. But I don't think you want to use that as the way to attract women, because then you're just going to attract the wrong women. They're not going to like you for you. It is going to improve your value tremendously. There's no doubt about that. So it is something that you want to work on, definitely. But it's not the end-all, be-all. This is also include your status. So, celebrities, rock stars, actors, DJs, they have a ton of status. They're going to get attractive women. If that's the route you want to go, that's definitely a way to do that. Social circle is another great way to do that. So it's stuff that you can still work on, but it might not get you the quality women you want if they're only wanting to be with you with status. I never had status. When I was growing up, I assumed that you had to be good looking and you had to have status. So you were either popular or good looking, or you were an actor and everyone just loved you as it was. But these are things that you can work on. I highly recommend you do work on them. Money. You want more money. You want to be able to travel, take girls out. Status. It's always good to just feel good about yourself, have high value friends, have a good social circle. If you want to be a DJ or a musician or an actor, that's great. That's a great thing to do. Just be wary that some of your value might only attract women that only want that value. They don't necessarily care about who you are as a person. So that's the second component of SMV. The third component of SMV is what really started opening my eyes to what would be possible for me as a man. Up until this point, I didn't know what sexual market value was when I got divorced. I was thinking my value was based only on my looks, which I didn't have because I was overweight and addicted to video games. And I thought it was based off my money and status, which I didn't have because I was going through a divorce, so I had to pay lawyers and I didn't have any friends. So I just assumed I would never be attractive. But once I learned about this third component, I got the ideas that, okay, as a man, there are areas that I can improve in. So this is what we call learned value. These are areas that are within your control. It's up to you if you want to learn these things. By learning them, you do improve yourself as a man. It just makes you more well-rounded, gives girls better experiences, makes you more attractive. And if you don't want to learn them, you're just not improving your value as high as you could. These are things like charisma, charm. I never realized that growing up that you could learn charisma. I thought it was just something you're born with. That's kind of what they tell you is like, oh, he's very charismatic. He's just that kind of guy. But I came across a guy named Marcus Oki on YouTube. He talked about how you can improve yourself with charisma. He used to be a shy, quiet guy, didn't have a lot of friends. He started learning social skills, and he taught me how to just approach strangers on the street. I would go over and just give compliments to old ladies. I would go and talk to my coworkers in the office, just go say how your morning was. One of the things he taught me was you want to get 3 conversations in to start your day so that you just feel more social throughout the day. And it's something I probably should get back to practicing. I'm kind of out of that as much as I was. So my charisma has probably slipped a bit, but it's something that you can learn. And knowing that you could learn it made me excited to go out and try these things. And it really improved my life and got me out of the malaise of the divorce and just thinking I was never going to be attractive. This would include things like being assertive. You can learn to be more assertive. I never was assertive. I thought it was better to just be the cool, relaxed, chill husband, which is not attractive to women. It just shows you're not a leader. It shows that maybe you don't care that much, or that you're just not the kind of man that she needs. So being assertive is something that I needed to learn. I was a nice guy. I didn't want to stand up for myself. I didn't want to talk out of line at work. These are skill sets that you can take in every aspect of your life. So this is if you want to improve your value, assertiveness. This would include non-neediness. For the longest time, I was desperate for female attention. I would do anything to get validation. A lot of the reasons why I stayed with my wife so long was out of neediness. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to have to start over. I didn't think anyone would want me. So I was very needy behaviors, needy with friends. Like, I'll do this for you because I desperately need you to like me. I started to learn that these were something that was in my control. I read the No More Mr. Nice Guy. I started watching YouTube videos on how to stand up for yourself. All things that I mean, it sounds kind of dumb saying it, but I didn't know I could learn this stuff. I just in a malaise, playing video games, watching movies, never realizing the things that are within my control. This includes sexual habits, or just being better at sex. I didn't try as a husband. I didn't get any complaints. I didn't know that it was bad. Looking back, I know it was bad because it wasn't good for me. It's not the pleasure I'm giving to girls now. So it's a skill set. I didn't realize that there were so many things I didn't know about sex. I didn't know what turned girls on because I didn't ask. I guess I was very naive, just assuming that girls were very innocent, but girls have a lot of fantasies and a lot of desires. So I learned about that stuff. I read books. I talked about this in the video yesterday. I read books, or Multi-Orgasmic Man, Sex God Method, She Comes First. Like, just learning to be better at sex makes you more attractive as a man. It's not something that is going to immediately, maybe girls can see like just meeting you, but it's going to keep your relationships fresher. They're going to want to stay with you because it's very attractive to have a man who knows what he's doing, can give them amazing experiences, not make them feel judged, make them feel comfortable, make them feel safe, and then give them a mind-blowing experience. This is something that you can learn. Includes just life experiences, getting out and traveling. As a man in your 30s, you have a huge advantage over guys in your 20s. I thought at 35 I was too old. Girls weren't going to want me. I'm going to have to... I don't know if I was even going to settle. I just assumed I was too old to get really anybody. But that was probably more just based off my looks and everything. But realizing at 35, I didn't think I could actually get any girls in their 20s. That was a limiting belief I had. But girls really appreciate life experiences. They want a guy who's interesting, who's traveled. It builds confidence. It gives you interesting things to talk about on dates. It shows girls that you're adventurous and that you could go on adventures with them. You can go traveling with them. You're not going to be just in, I'll use my example. You're not just going to be stuck in small town Wisconsin doing the same things every weekend, never improving, never living a life. So life experiences. Once I got divorced, I traveled immediately to London. I moved to Boston, Vegas, visited Colombia. Like, I got so many life experiences now, and it just makes me more valuable because when I'm on dates, I can relate to more things. I have more interesting stories to tell. It gives a girl an insight into my world. It shows that I'm not afraid to get out of my comfort zone. And it's extremely valuable. And if you're a man in your 30s and your 40s now, and you haven't been traveling, I recommend start doing it now. And if you are a man in your 30s and 40s who has been traveling, this is a huge thing for you. It adds to your value. You can work on these other aspects to just keep improving your value. And yeah, this would also include like risk taking. I was never a big risk taker. I just stayed, that's probably why I just stayed home all day. I didn't really want to travel. I didn't really want to take the risk of leaving my town. Didn't want to take the risk of really doing anything on the weekends. I was just comfortable. So risk taking is a huge thing because it just shows that you're adventurous. You have confidence to handle whatever situation comes up. You can makes a girl feel safe knowing that if you guys are in a bad situation, you can handle things. I was not assertive and I couldn't handle things, so it was that an attractive quality. If we traveled anywhere, my wife would probably think that I would be, I wouldn't say a hindrance, but I probably wouldn't be able to take care of anything if something did happen. So risk taking is important. Let's see. Yeah, this would also include male polarity, like being able to lead, being able to set up dates, being able to know when to escalate on dates as well. That's very important to women. A lot of girls can be very uncomfortable if a guy doesn't know how to lead. He's just asking them, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to drink? Like, not having any sort of plan doesn't make them feel safe, doesn't make them feel like you're a man. So you have to be able to lead. That's something you can learn. And then when to escalate. On dates, girls don't want to go on dates to be friends with guys. They want guys to be masculine on the dates. They want them to know how to escalate properly. They don't want you to just go in and pull them in for a kiss very awkwardly. They want you to build the tension, build the playfulness, make them comfortable, make them want to be excited to be on the date. And then, you escalate a little bit, touching their shoulder a little bit, brushing their hair maybe, like just very slow leading up to, a kiss or whatever happens. But it does take practice. It's something that you can learn. So these are learned values as a man. So these are things that are totally within your control. If you want to learn and have more life experiences, you can go out tomorrow and go on an adventure. You could book a flight. You could, it's all in your control. If you want to be better at sex, there's plenty of books out there. Ask girls what they like. I mean, 50 Shades of Grey was the most popular book and movie for, maybe it still is, I don't know, but it's something that you can learn. Girls are not innocent like I used to believe. They do have fantasies, and they're great. It's fun to pleasure them and make them live that stuff out. Non-neediness, that's something you can learn too. If you're in a situation now where you feel like you're being needy, say with texting. I know I used to be very needy with texting, like, why haven't you texted me back? Is something wrong? Do you not like me anymore? I mean, these are turnoffs. It shows that you have confidence issues. It shows that you're not as manly as you could be. So it's something you can work on. Assertiveness. Stand up for yourself. If you want a raise at work, tell them why you deserve a raise. Things that I never used to do, but you learn it as you go. Charisma, charm, like I said, that was instrumental in changing me from just the quiet kid to actually being able to go out and socialize. Just take small steps at a time. I'm not trying to change overnight, but it does show what is possible. You can start to visualize what I would look like as that charismatic guy. If I started approaching girls every day for 100 days, what kind of guy would I become? What kind of results could I get? If I kept learning from this experience, what could be different about my life? And male polarity, leading, learning to escalate, all within your control. These are what really got me into self-development. If I didn't learn about SMV in particular, I kind of knew about the first two components, but if I didn't learn about this component, I might not have ever tried to change my life because I might have felt hopeless. So I don't know if this helps any of you guys. For me, when I found this, it really just opened my eyes. It's probably stuff that seems like common sense to a lot of people, but for whatever reason, it really hit me. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. Day 31. I appreciate everybody who's been subscribing and following me. If you have any suggestions for videos you want to see, any feedback on what you think I could improve with the videos, this is all brand new to me. Kind of just taking the risk, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to tell me a story about what it was like for you, how you've been improving, if this is something that is new to you, anything you want to share in the comments, I would love to see it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.